Casual Magic has been sponsored by Quiver, maker of the Quiver and Bolt deck cases and other fine deck holding accessories. Use the code CASUAL on their website for 10% off your order. We're also sponsored by Architect, the premier site for hosting your decks on the internet. I love them and they love me, and it seems like a good reason for you to use them. This episode is also brought to you by Monopool, a fast-growing marketplace for Magic the Gathering that makes buying and selling cards easy. Their optimizer helps you get the best value when buying cards, and their team is focused on making it a great experience for buyers and sellers alike. You can also support Casual Magic directly by going to our Patreon at patreon.com/ShivamB. And now, on with the show. And welcome to Casual Magic, the show where we talk about the fun side of Magic the Gathering. My name is Shivam Bhatt, and Casual Magic is brought to you by Architect, Quiver, and my brand new sponsor, Monopool. You heard the new little bumper in the beginning of the show. If you didn't, I suggest you rewind and go check it out. They're a really great new marketplace where you can buy and sell cards and do all the things. And honestly, I'm just really stoked to have a new sponsor after so many episodes, because when does that happen? And this is episode 301. Which is an absurd number, an absolutely absurd number. I don't think, short of my marriage, I don't think I've ever done anything this long, like consistently. I guess being a dad, but that doesn't really count. You don't get to choose that. You do get to choose that. However, once you're there, it's not something you count. You guys understand. Today, I am very excited to talk to Catherine Nicoloff, who is a pro player from the dawn of mankind, from the dawn of Magic. Like, and I don't mean to say that, like, I'm just like, it's so wild to see somebody whose exploits I would have read about in Inquest and Scry 1,000 years ago when I was learning the game in the early 90s. And I'm just really stoked because I've gotten to talk to a lot of people over the years who've played Magic from any number of spots within the 30-year history of this game. And like, it's wild when you talk to somebody who's like, oh yeah, I started playing with Phyrexia, all will be one. I'm like, that set's still on store shelves. You don't, what are we talking about? What's going on? But I have not, aside from like, I don't know, Brian, David Marshall, or like Sheldon, I don't think I've talked to anybody who was around all the way in like the early 90s when we started playing, let alone playing pro tournaments when they started. Thank you so much for joining me today. This is so cool.
Hi, it's very nice to be here. I'm looking forward to our conversation.
Yeah, I'm really, really hyped about this because professional Magic is one of my favorite things. I love watching tournaments. I mean, I am a casual. This show is called Casual Magic. I play Commander. I do all the very relaxed magic-y things. However, my love is in watching tournament play from all the way back in like the earliest days of watching like Kai and Finkel go off and play Rebels with each other, or like, I don't know, now, as long as it's not standard, that's just VV Town. But maybe we can establish something with the audience first off. When did you discover Magic? Do you remember?
I discovered Magic in 1995. So I think that was between Revised and 4th edition, or was that when 4th edition just came out?
95 was, let's see, because Revised came out in 94, and Ice Age, let's see, when did, you know what, I'm going to look it up because I remember being so disappointed when 4th Ed came out and we were all like, where are all the dual lands? What the hell's going on? The change the tap symbol is garbage. 4th edition came out in April of 95, roughly.
Okay.
You know, sometimes I look at Scryfall's dates and I think that they've got to be wrong because there's no way Legends came out after Revised. That seems wrong to me. And because when I got playing, Revised was still fresh and Legends was like spoken about in myth, as in like this set that once existed and had gold cards in it and nobody had ever seen because it was gone.
Maybe that's why they think it happened before Revised.
Yeah.
I think Revised was much larger print run than Legends.
Oh yeah,
correct?
100%. Easily. Legends was like minuscule and Revised was, we're going to blow this out. It's going to be awesome. But yeah, so how did you get into Magic? Because like in the 90s, where did you find this game?
I found this game the same way many, many, many people found this game, through my Dungeons and Dragons group.
I mean, I'd be lying if I said I wasn't also somebody who found Magic through D&D.
So it was just a game that happened to show up on my radar when I showed up one week for our D&D session, and my boyfriend at the time, whose name was Ryan, I believe, he had some cards and he was just going through them, and he just had piles and piles of these cards. I'm like, what's this game? And he kind of showed me some cards, and I was like, nah, maybe not. But then after a little bit of exposure, some more D&D sessions, people challenging each other to duels, kind of watching them play.
Yeah.
I decided, you know what? Actually, Ryan, can you teach me how to play this game?
That's cool. Yeah, because like I was telling you before, when I learned how to play, because I was what kind of D&D did you like to play? Do you remember what like the campaign settings or anything was?
Oh my gosh, we were so terrible at it. I have no idea.
I just
I
asked
have
because
no idea.
I'm a Dragonlance diehard, so I'm always curious who was playing back then. But like, yeah, just the idea of like, wow, they've got lightning bolts and fireballs and dragons and ogres. It looks like
Exactly.
D&D, but in card form. That's cool.
Exactly. And it was very confusing at first, because there were these things called instants, and there were these things called interrupts, and there were these things called sorceries, and when you could cast each one was kind of,
Yeah.
especially the
Yeah.
interrupts, that was really hard to understand. I'm kind of glad nobody deals with that now.
It's so weird because you think about back in the day, you're like, okay, well, instants are faster than everything except for interrupts, which are faster than instants. And I'm like, well, if you cast a counterspell and I cast a counterspell, what happened? They're both interrupts. Who's faster? It's like, well, there was a lot of making up the rules as you went back then. It feels like.
And wasn't it that because the interrupts were faster, that whoever cast a counterspell, it got interrupted by the other counterspell, and therefore it countered the counterspell in that way
Yes.
without using the stack? There was no stack.
Well, there was no stack. It was all a batch system or whatever. You just shove a bunch of cards in there and see what happens. Boy, that was people don't understand how weird and like how incomprehensible Magic was in the dawn of the game. Like it tells you something that has survived this long, given how messed up it was. It was so weird. I mean, like,
but they were constantly iterating on it, which was good.
I mean, and it made sense, I guess, at the time. You're just like, oh, I cast a red elemental blast. It blows up your counterspell. Okay, well, I guess that makes sense. It felt a little bit like whoever did the thing last just kind of worked. Like, aha, intuitively. But yeah, it was a messy and confusing game though. Like, and you had the double benefit of also being a girl trying to learn Magic in the 90s, which was a lovely time to be a girl nerd, I'm sure.
It was certainly not without its interesting parts. It was also with its blessings, though. I mean, there were good parts, there were bad parts. I don't know how much I should expound upon that.
Well, I mean, that's your choice. I knew a lot of lady nerds back in the day, so but like in Magic players, I mean, I was like 15, and all the people who maybe like 14 or 15 or whatever when I picked up Magic, all the people we were playing with were not the coolest kids in school. So like there were no girls talking to us anyways, let alone about D&D and Magic at the time. It was trippy.
But that was okay for me, because that was the peer group I was actually used to.
Oh, well, that works.
In high school, I was the girl who took the programming classes. In middle school, I was the girl who took the shop class. So there was always at least some place where I was just distinctly out of place and having to figure out and navigate my way through it.
It's good practice, I guess.
So when it came to Magic, it was just more of the same. It was like going to the computer programming lab, except now I was playing a card game instead.
And it was probably the same folks who were in the computer programming labs who were playing Magic and D&D at the time anyways.
For a large part, there was overlap.
Yeah, let's just say that nerd hobbies don't really go that far from the tree. We all kind of live in the same pocket. Yeah, gosh, I remember getting like we would be trading like games like floppy disks of King's Quest while in between games or whatever. You remember pirating video game by like copying floppies?
Oh, I remember. And the ways they tried to prevent us from copying them. Yes.
Memorize the manuals. I've still got the maps for Star Control 2 coordinates memorized because of how many times I ran into the copy protection of that stupid game. These are things that could be used for useful thoughts, but no, I know where horror loogie is. Anyways, so tell me though, like, what was it like picking up the game? Like, did you like? Because I know you wrote you wrote an article on the dojo 1,001 years ago about what your career was like, and you were saying that you played a lot of multiplayer games early on, right?
Yes, that is correct. The weekly the weekly Magic group that was an offshoot of the weekly Dungeons and Dragons group was just everyone brought pretty much every card they owned and stuck it into a deck, and then everyone sat down at the table, and it was kind of just a free-for-all.
Yeah, it sure was.
And however many lands you had. And all 5 colors, nobody had any real concept of maybe thinning that out a little bit and making something a little more focused. Or the idea of a deck. So there was one guy in the group who did have that down, and he was fortunately the one to teach me how to play Magic.
Oh, well, it's good that somebody at least understood, because I remember in the old days, it was like, okay, you're going to take all the green and red cards from our pile, and I'm going to take all the blue and white cards, and then we're going to build a deck and fight each other with them. And like, I remember you would have to trade for basics with people, because like we used to get starter decks, and starter decks came with like some number of each color of the basics. It was like 60 cards, and like half of them were lands or whatever. And if you didn't have enough mountains for your red deck, well, you better trade that Urg Raiders, because nobody's going to give you a mountain for free.
Nowadays, of course, there's just piles of land everywhere.
Like, I can just reach down below my desk and give you all the lands you want forever. People don't understand.
I still have a box from that era. It's a very yellowed white cardboard box that says land on it. And I very carefully saved all my land, because you never knew when you'd need to build a deck. You never knew when you might do a booster draft.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And so the land box went with me to tournaments. I mean, that was easily as valuable as the rest of my binder.
Yeah, I believe it. Give me a second. I want to show you something really cool.
Sure.
It's funny you mentioned a land box, because I have here my old Channel Fireball thing, which has inside a whole set of unlimited basics from like the ancient days.
Oh, so pretty. Unlimited basics. Very pretty.
I just liked the fact that they say tap. Like that.
Instead of that symbol.
Instead of a stupid slanty T or whatever.
Or the angled arrow now.
Or now, not even anything. Just a symbol on the card. And I'm like, come on, man. Put some effort into it. But yeah, it just says tap. It looks classier to me. Also, the unlimited basics because it said like tap to add 1 white mana to your thing. We used to do things, sleight of mind on their lands or whatever, to be like, aha, now your island only taps for green mana. And they're like, no, what do I do? That's not how the rules work, but we didn't know any better.
That's not how that works.
It said change 1 color word to another. White's a color word. Let's go. Blue land destruction, baby. But yeah, so like, what were those early days like? Like, did you have your own cards, or did you borrow them from people? How'd you go?
Well, at first I had to borrow a deck from, I believe his name was Gunter, who was our, I guess the D&D group's kind of genius deck builder, because he had decks that were only 70 cards. So they weren't 150 or 180, they were 70 cards, and they were usually one or two colors. So he was ahead of his time in our group, and he would loan me a deck, and I would play, and he would help me by letting me have my hand face up. And he would say, well, if I was you, here is what I would do, and here's why. And
Yes.
so after I won my first game, everyone was kind of like, Gunter, stop helping her, because nobody likes to lose. Stop helping her or whatever. So I played the second game and I won again, even though I wasn't getting any help that time.
Get wrecked.
And that was mostly because Gunter's deck was actually focused. Everyone else was busy getting mana screwed or color hosed or whatever.
Or playing a bunch of laces.
Playing Chaos Lace or something.
There was so much useless chaff in those original packs. It's a wonder. Every time I look at old Revised, like every time I look at like the set list for Revised or whatever, I'm like, what the hell were we doing? How did we play this game? These cards are so bad.
Like, here, I tapped 3 mana for a 2/2 unicorn with no abilities. Here you go.
Hey, you know what? Pearl Unicorn was the business, man. It's like my curve went Savannah Lions, Benelish Hero, Pearl Unicorn, and then what are you going to do? Oh, Wrath? Well, I guess.
There wasn't really anything at 4 in white, was there?
5 had Sarah Angel. 4 had... No, I don't... I mean, there's probably some crap of something, but I didn't have it. My 4 was... Oh, it was like Wall of Swords? Wall of Swords.
Wall of Swords, that's right.
3/5, was that for 4? I don't remember, but I think it was. Or Air Elemental? No, Air Elemental was 5. Air Elemental was also blue.
Correct.
I played a blue-white deck, so yeah.
Wall of Swords.
I'm trying to do this off of memory without actually looking, because that's cheating. But now I'm going to cheat. Let's see. Balance. There was Northern Paladin. I remember that guy.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, no, there was nothing I would be actually playing it for, though. Probably drop a couple of White Knights.
But it's amazing what you still remember, isn't it?
Yeah, and it's just like 30. I haven't thought about these cards in a very long time. Although I do still play Chandelar. Do you remember that game? Microprose put it out in the mid-90s. It was basically the Magic the Gathering video game.
That's right. I remember that.
Yeah. You could have like 5 Moxes in your deck, or like infinite Time Twisters if you fought the right people. It was a very broken game. It was a
I don't think I ever played it. I just do remember it existing.
It's really, really fun, but it's also just one of the most broken. It's just like Magic as Richard Garfield really did not intend it to be.
No. But although, you know what? He honestly thought nobody would ever collect enough cards,
right,
to have, that many Moxes or that many Time Twisters in a single deck.
Sometimes I wonder, like, what decks he actually imagined people playing, and I feel like they must have looked like bad sealed decks or something.
Probably. I mean, his playtest sets probably only included a couple of each card, maybe.
Yeah.
So
I own one playtest card, and it's like the coolest thing I own. I have Jedit Wajanan, the legend, the 5/5 blue-white legend tiger guy. Yeah, I got it off
he is cool.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's like, it is maybe the coolest Magic thing I own. I'm very proud of that. But it's my favorite. It's a card that got me into the game, so I'm like super excited to have that. But this is not about me. It's about you. Somebody made a comment the other day in one of my videos where it's like, dude, for an interview, you talk about yourself a lot. And I'm like, yes, I do.
But that's just to break the ice. I mean, you have to give and take. It's a conversation.
Right. It's a conversation, and you don't know who I am, so I need to establish who I am so that you will then tell me your secrets.
Oh, okay. Secrets. All right. What do you want to know?
Well, the thing is, okay, let's skip past the beginning bit there. But do you remember what your first set was that you bought, or like what it was like? When did you try building your own decks? Like, because
So go on.
Because what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to find a way to lead into how you ended up on the Pro Tour, because like that's insane to me. It's still insane to me. It's like I know how people do it now, but like back then, how did you get on the Pro Tour?
So after I had my first taste of Magic, I really was interested in having more tastes of Magic. So I went down to my local card shop where I met a lot of very friendly fellow gamer nerds who were more than happy to help me build my very first deck, which was a red-white deck that featured Dragon Whelps and Sarah Angels and direct damage. And I think I paid all of $15 for the whole deck. And it was 62 cards. And they helped me refine it. It had like Orcish Cannoneers in it. You know, it was really about just doing things straight to the opponent's face.
Yes.
As much as possible. And I bought the cards on the singles market because I couldn't afford to open as many packs as would be necessary to actually have anything playable in a week's time when Magic Night came around again.
Mm-hmm.
So I showed up at the next Magic Night with my little 62 card deck, and I just completely nuked the entire table, and they were very angry at me.
Well, you're playing a tuned burn deck basically against ye old pile of cards.
I know. Okay. In retrospect, not the best thing I did, but they kind of didn't want to play with me anymore. They said that I'd violated the spirit of the group, which fair.
What the hell?
The spirit of the group was you played with what you got from packs.
The early days. Yeah, well, you know what though? I do remember what that was like, because when you had like the one friend who had the rich parents, and they would be like, "Oh yeah, okay, we'll buy you Super Metroid, and then we'll buy you a Savannah or whatever." And we're like, "I can't. My parents aren't buying me a Savannah. I get like whatever I can get with my $3.99 pack." And then it's like, you open it up. It's like, well, my rare was some hot trash. It's like, well, trade for what you need, buddy. But
my rare was an anti-rare. Oh boy.
Right. Yeah, exactly. It's just oh God. Contract from Below. Let's go. Dude, Contract from Below might be the strongest card in the history of Magic. Pay 1 mana, draw 8 cards, and keep 7 and put the 8th one on your anti-pile. And it's just like, this is not okay.
That's better than Ancestral Recall. Yeah.
Yeah, it's better than literally it is the best draw card in the history of Magic, because like, who cares? I drew 7 cards. You can have the ante. I'm gonna win anyways.
So I wanted to tell you a quick story though.
Yes.
At the very beginning of Magic for me, that illustrates kind of what it was like to be a girl.
Yes, please.
Playing, which was a friend of mine was moving out of his apartment. And he said he didn't have time to clean it if I would come and clean the apartment so that he could get his deposit back. He would give me all the Magic cards he had, which were in a plastic grocery bag. Okay. A plastic grocery bag just filled with Magic cards. And so I went and I scrubbed the toilets and whatever, and I got this bag of cards, and I was going through them, and I saw this card I'd never seen before. So I called Ryan, and I said, I don't know what this card is. And he said, well, what's the title of it? And I said, Black Lotus. And he went, hold on to that one. So it was an unlimited Black Lotus. And I took it, down to the card shop because that's where my binder went, and it was in my binder or whatever. And they happened to see it, and everybody was like, oh man, how many favors did you perform to get that card and stuff like that. You know, it was like,
Oh.
wow, guys, okay. But I did loan it out a couple of times for other people to play tournaments with. So,
do you still have it?
I do not.
It happens. It happens to all of us.
I had to give it up in, I think, 1998 when it was $350 in
but you probably
class.
could have used that $350 for whatever you needed it for.
And it was signed by Christopher Rush and Richard Garfield. I know, right? So somebody out there has my very, very beautiful double-signed Unlimited Black Lotus, and I hope it brings them joy.
That one's hard. You know what I found the other day when I was going through some boxes? I have 8 lightning bolts that were signed by Chris Rush.
Aw, such a great
That's kind of sick. Yeah, that's kind of sick. But it's not a Black Lotus, and it's certainly not signed. When did you meet Richard Garfield?
I met him at a World Championship in Seattle, I believe. And
you were at Worlds?
It had to be pre 98. I was visiting Worlds. I was not competing.
Okay, I visited World, but I didn't get to meet Richard Garfield because he wasn't there in 2011. Anyways, but yeah, that sounds. So I'm sure you got the taste there of like, okay, I can kick these people's butts up and down the street with a tuned deck, which sounds awesome.
Right.
Just schooling people. But how did you go from there? Like, because one of the things I'm very curious about is how we got from that era of every card I own in a big old pile to like a deck, right? Like to like a tuned idea of a deck that does a thing. Do you remember how that worked?
Well, for me, it was the people at the card shop who understood that concept more than the people in my D&D group. So eventually I just went and played with the people at the card shop because they had a lot to teach me, specifically about making a deck redundant and making it as small as possible so that you drew your good cards and all these things that, you know, pros already knew that were filtering down to kind of scrubs like us.
Yeah, because back in the day, the idea was like a 60 card deck was a suggestion. It was like, that's the minimum, not the maximum. And so we didn't really have the notion of, oh, you should play as close to the bare minimum as you can. We would just be like, it's got to be at least 60 cards. Good enough. It's like, no, that's actually a bad way to play. It's got to be 60 cards or you're going to lose. Yeah, like Kai Buddha once said, like, you should try to be the worst person in your Magic group because that's how you get actually better at it. And I was like, how do you say that, Kai? I don't know how the best player of all time gets to be the worst player in a room, but okay.
Well, Matt Place once taught me a trick that I believe it was Matt Place, that he would do when he was playing in Magic areas where people were not as strong of a player. And that was, he would buy a starter deck and a few packs, and he would build a deck from whatever he got, and then he would take on people's constructed decks for a challenge. And so I got into doing that too, eventually, as a way to keep your brain kind of fresh. Like you're working with cards you don't usually play with that are suboptimal. Can you still win?
Yeah. I do that with Commander a lot, where we take the Brian David Marshall's idea of the boxing league, where you build a deck out of a single box of cards. And I would take this deck, which is basically built out of whatever's in this box, and run it up against people's actual constructed built decks, where they've got like soul rings and like, infinite trillion ways to draw cards. And I'm just playing like, draft chaff in a effectively super sealed. And if I can hang, then that shows my skill level there. And I really enjoy that challenge. It's really fun sometimes. Also, I have on my desk, for some reason, a Mirage starter deck.
I love it.
It's still got all the cards in it. It's pretty cool.
You have all sorts of wonderful things on your deck.
My desk is
your desk, not deck.
My desk is a nightmare of organization, and I have more than once found literal thousands of dollars of cards tucked underneath random things on here because I have ADHD and no organizational skills.
Well, I'm surprised you haven't pointed out that I have William Shatner in the background here.
That's yeah, you certainly do. Look at that. It was. You also have a Black Lotus behind you. Is that one of the oversized ones?
The oversized one, yeah.
I have one of those. That's super cool. Why do you have William Shatner? Well, I mean, you're a nerd. You're of that era. Of course you have William Shatner.
I love Star Trek, and he was at Gen Con one year. So.
Oh, is it a signed one?
That's a signed picture.
Well, I can't see from the camera angle.
No, you can't.
Yeah, that's sick. I love Gen Con. But I've never had the courage or patience to wait in one of those lines to meet like William Shatner, but I should because he's like 90 something, and who knows how many more chances you will get to hang out with Bill Shatner. But Picard was my guy, so
I love Picard. Yes.
Yeah. All right, but yeah, so like if you're playing at the LGS and hanging out and building your decks with like whatever you can scrounge together, how did you get into tournaments?
That's a bit of a side shift. So so we go from the D&D group to the LGS, and then I learn just about as much as I can from the LGS. But on the heels of the LGS were people hanging out on IRC on the internet.
IRC.
And there was a channel on FNet called MTG, and I would go in there and I would just talk to people. And one of these people that happened to talk to me was a South Florida pro by the name of Adam Masonette. And so he was kind of a rising star in the game. He originated what is known as the Masonette Rack Balance deck. It was a nasty thing when you could play 4 balances in a deck. Ugh.
Rack and balance sounds miserable. I mean, I say that, but I played that deck. Yeah, because rack is like if you've got anything less than 4 cards in your hand, you take a damage for each card you're short, and then balance, of course, is one of the most powerful cards of all time. So,
yes.
Like I used to have Zern Orb in play, and I would sack all my lands, and then find some way to discard my hand, and then balance and just nuke your stuff. It was great.
Absolutely, yep. And as long as there was a rack in play, they were taking lots of damage while trying to get set back up again. So that was a nasty deck. Anyway, I happened to go down to South Florida and meet him, and we dated for a little while. And he introduced me to the tournament scene in South Florida. So that was how I began playing in little tiny tournaments at his local game shop, which actually had little tournaments. And eventually he was encouraging enough to me that I played in the 1996 regionals. That was Necro Summer. Necro Summer. Yeah.
Oh God. It's so funny. Like when you think back on like Ice Age and like Necro Summer, and the fact that when Necro Buttons came out, we all looked at this card and we're like, this seems like garbage. Why would you play this card? It just does so much damage to you. And little did we know that it's like one of the most broken cards ever printed.
It was so broken that I think it wound up. Didn't it wind up banned at some point?
It's been banned multiple times. It was definitely, I think it was it was definitely banned from Type 2 and Type. Yeah, it was banned. I know it was banned because it was in like the From the Vault banned cards once upon a time.
But correct me if I'm wrong. Didn't land tax get banned before Necro did?
Yeah. Land tax
did. What on earth?
Got banned.
What on earth?
Broken card.
It was, but was it as broken as Necro?
Hypnotic Spectre got banned before Necro, before Dark Ritual. When people are sitting there Dark Ritualing into Necro on turn 1, it's like, buddy, Hippie is not the problem here.
No, it really wasn't.
Yeah, so Necro is still banned in Legacy. Yep.
Sorry, I
Go
didn't mean
ahead.
to interrupt.
No,
So it's
please.
still banned in Legacy.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
well,
that
that
card's
makes
broken
sense.
though.
Well, it enables a lot of powerful combo decks as well.
Yeah.
You throw Necro in any combo deck and it instantly becomes better.
So for those of you who are too young to remember Necropotence, it is black, black, black enchantment, and it says skip your draw step. Whenever you discard a card, exile that card from your graveyard. Pay a life. Exile the top card of your library face down. Put that card into your hand at the beginning of your next end step. That's not what the original wording was. The original wording was skip your draw phase. If you discard a card from your hand, remove that card from the game. 0. Pay 1 life to set aside the top card of your library. At the beginning of your next discard phase, put that card into your hand. Effects that prevent or redirect damage cannot be used to counter this loss of life. It was a lot of text in a very small font back in the day, and we'd be like, so wait, you want me to just like pay a bunch of life, and then at the end of my turn, I get to put these cards in my hand, but then I have to discard them anyways because of my discard step. We didn't understand that if you just draw 20 cards off of Necro or like 15 cards off Necro and pick the best 7, you win. It turns out it's just a very good way to win the game. Yeah.
So during Necro Summer, the only real obvious counters to Necro decks were either red decks or white decks. Mm-hmm. So I played a white weenie deck with land tax and 4 Attica Wastes in it for Sleight of Mind. And the point was...
to change the protection on the... Wait, why?
Okay, so Necro decks usually had black pump knights that were protection from white, and you didn't want to deal with those, but they would sideboard in Gloom. And if you could slight Gloom from white to black, suddenly you were on the winning side of that equation. Yes. And it was one of the only ways you could deal with Gloom because you couldn't disenchant it. It would cost too much.
Yes. Gloom is like one of the great color haters that ever came out. It was like, so God, the color hosers in Alpha Beta Unlimited just were mean. So Gloom was like, it was 2 and a black for an enchantment that said white spells cost 3 extra to cast, and white enchantments with activation cost require an additional 3 to use, which is to say your circle of protection now costs you 4 to turn on instead of 1. It's like there was so much just incidental circle of protection hate. It's so random. But yeah, dude, just having the fact that your disenchant, instead of costing 1 and a white, now costs 4 and a white, sucks. Your Sarah Angel is now an 8 mana spell.
You're dead. Versus a Necro deck, you're dead before, Yeah. So like turn 1 Dark Ritual Gloom in the second game, they bring that in from the sideboard. You better hope your first play is Attica Waste Sleight of Mind, or it's going to be...
change it to black and then say, good luck, buddy.
Exactly. So that was the deck I played. I didn't do too well in the first regionals I ever played, but that was just because I didn't play Necro.
What was it like to be in a giant tournament at that time?
Well, it was a giant tournament. It was highly intimidating. Just all sorts of people. I mean, I perceived myself to be a scrub who was surrounded by people who had infinitely more magic knowledge than I did. And I was, of course, losing most of my games. So I was sitting at the lower tables and kind of occasionally suffering a comment like, why are you playing Magic? Or, who built your deck?
Here?
Or is your boyfriend here? Yeah, exactly. So that sort of thing. And
some things never change.
Is that still a problem?
Oh my God. Yes, it absolutely is. The dudes who play Magic being just a bunch of ogres has not changed at all since I started. And I despair of it ever changing because it's really frustrating, especially since in modern days, the amount of women who play Magic now and the amount of like trans people and non-binary people is such a huge, huge part of the game compared to what it was when I was a kid. It's so great to see, but it's just like these troglodytes are just like, it's if anything, they've gotten only worse and more emboldened over the years. But it was probably real bad back then too.
Well, it's partly because back then I was a curiosity.
Yeah.
They genuinely wanted to know, wow, how
Girl
did
plays
you come
magic.
to play magic? So it wasn't all rudeness, but it was that unintentional kind of rudeness.
Microaggression.
Like, well, I guess you could call it that, but like walking up to somebody who's, got an accent and saying, "Where are you from?"
Yes. That is exactly a microaggression.
So, it's like, well, how are you playing magic? And then assuming or jumping to the assumption, oh, does your boyfriend play? Or, that kind of thing. Assuming that I'm heterosexual and have a boyfriend and, many other things. So,
and if you don't, would you like one? Huh?
but they weren't all bad. Some of them were just curious. They were just curious.
That's the other thing that has lasted through the years is a lack of social awareness. Just like they're trying, but they don't come to magic because they're particularly good at talking to other people.
Well, myself included. So
I mean, look, I'm definitely an odd one out because I just like talking to people, but that also means I'm very bad at the game because I prefer to talk. So, but yeah, so you were saying like, was it just, it must have been wild though. You like go from playing with 15, 20 people at a store to like, there's hundreds of people in this hall.
Hundreds of people, and it smells interesting. And it's the first real tournament I've played that probably had more than 3 rounds in it. And so now you're hitting up against this experience of, oh shoot, do we get any breaks? Or do we just play magic for 10 hours straight?
Yeah.
And if you were winning, you were playing magic for 10 hours straight. You weren't going to get a lunch break or a dinner break, or you better hope your games ended fast so you could, grab some chicken nuggets or something, because that was how magic was played. These organizers had the event hall rented from this hour to this hour, and it had to be clean by the next day, and they wanted you in and out. So they weren't going to take extra time. Brutal. So that was definitely an experience of just being in a very large tournament for just hours on end. And so after a while, I was mostly just spectating Adam, who was playing Necro, of course. But that I don't know what else you would like me to say about that.
Well, no, well, it's more like from there though, like because you kept playing though, so there was obviously something there worth doing. And let's move forward a bit to like the tournament that you actually won, the Florida regionals. Like when you came back, like you actually went to like the Pro Tour, didn't you? Like in Dallas,
or I was did.
That yeah?
I went to Pro Tour. That was Dallas, like
what, Pro Tour 2 or 3? No, it must have been Pro Tour 4 or one of the very early ones, because I know it was like there were 3 in LA, 2 in LA. I don't know, whatever. All I know is I just would read about them and be like, I want to go to a Pro Tour.
Yeah, no, it was one of the early ones when they were still kind of working the kinks out of the whole system.
How did you qualify?
How did I qualify? Oh my goodness. Okay. So I played in, I think, 3 qualifiers. There was one in Seattle, and there was one in California where I was living at the time. And then there was one in Dallas. And so each time I was doing better. So that was, encouraging. But the one in Dallas was the weekend before the Pro Tour.
Oh, no.
And that was the last chance qualifier, and it had 4 qualification slots. Top 4 went to the Pro Tour.
So you were basically flying around the country to go to these last chance qualifiers to try to get into the Pro Tour?
I drove to Seattle.
You were traversing the nation.
Yes, I was traversing the nation. It's almost a kind of freedom that you have when you're very poor, which is you can sometimes do things that you wouldn't otherwise be able to do because you really have nothing to lose by it. So
Fair.
you can drive all the way to Seattle, and you can drive all around the country if you're willing to sleep in your car at a rest stop, or if you're,
Yeah.
And if you have friends on the other end who'll give you a couch to sleep on or something like that. And that was what Magic was a big community. And people often couch surfed each other's apartments and drove around in cars on big long road
like
trips.
15 into a hotel room.
Oh, yes. I'm sure the hotels figured out what we were up to, but they didn't throw us out.
Yeah, I mean, they're still getting their daily, they're getting their rent. They don't care. I know I used to go to concerts doing exactly the same thing, like hitchhike my way across the country to go to Gen Con and then sleep on somebody's floor or sleep in the bathtub of their hotel room, whatever,
Exactly.
It's like,
that does not sound comfortable.
It was not the wisest decision I've ever made in my life, but it was free. So, and I was young. So we did what we had to do. What was the community like?
I mean, the community as in...
Yeah, because Magic was still small then. And I mean, if you're communicating, it's over news groups or IRC.
Yeah. Or in real life at tournaments.
Yeah, I mean, obviously.
Tournaments were almost at a kind of networking event.
Yeah.
You met people. And so this was one of the upsides of being a girl, is that people noticed you.
I guess that would make you memorable. It's like, oh, yeah, who are you? Well, I'm the white guy with glasses and a beard. Oh, you're going to have to help me. As opposed to, hey, look, I'm the girl who was at the Magic tournament. Got it.
It does make you memorable. And in some cases, there were young men who were willing to help a girl out, And so
yeah,
maybe they were hoping for more, or maybe they were just being friendly. I couldn't tell you.
Yeah, hey, you know what? It works out, right? Either way, you still get to crash at people's floors and go hang out and go to the tournaments, and it's a good time.
Although you have to question the wisdom of a 20-year-old young woman wandering around the country by herself in a car, sleeping at rest stops and crashing on random people's floors. But you know what? Nothing bad happened.
Yeah, please believe me that I'm doing my best to bite my tongue on I'm like, wait, that just seems really... Part of it seemed, in hindsight, a little ill-advised. Maybe
Let's just say I was maybe a little braver than I should have been.
Fair. I
thought of myself as one of the guys, so it was to me it was nothing. I didn't care whether you were male, female, whatever. You were just a friend.
Exactly. And you were very lucky that everybody else just kind of went along with that, because
I am very lucky.
Yeah. But that being said, though, because
so this qualifier, was that what we were getting back to, or not?
Yeah, hit me.
No. Or were you going to say something else?
Look, I have a very weird and extended attention deficit disorder, which makes it hard for me to be a podcast host sometimes, because then my mind wants to meander down paths and start talking about other interesting things that just trigger my memory. So I'm like, fine. No, must force myself back to the actual plot of the story that I'm trying to get to, because the poor listener is just like, God damn it, Shivam, please stop talking. 300 episodes. You guys have to deal with it. I promise I'm good at what I do. But I'm just so I want to know, because you did win a tournament and you won a big one. You won the regionals in Florida. So obviously you weren't a scrub forever. You figured out how to do this. I haven't won any tournaments. I mean, outside of the LGS level or whatever.
Well, to finish up really quickly, the Pro Tour qualifier story, that was the 4-slot qualifier for Pro Tour Dallas, the weekend before Dallas Pro Tour. It was an Ice Age Alliances format.
Oh.
And It was constructed, and I somehow won that entire qualifier. I didn't just make top 4. I won the whole thing. And that was an unusual experience for me because there I was, and I was still a scrub, very scared. Big, big, big tournament. I think 7 or 8 rounds and then cut to top 8. So it would have been 10 rounds that I had to play.
Jeez.
At least. And right before the tournament began, I had this unusual phenomenon where I felt like I'm going to win this tournament.
Yes.
And I had no idea where this feeling came from. And I didn't even believe it, but it was just echoing in my head, you're going to win. And I didn't feel like I could, rest and be, just like believe in that voice. I had to work for it, but for somehow it was correct.
That's awesome.
And I have no explanation for that because the only other time that ever happened was at Florida Regionals 1997.
That's such a cool feeling, though, when you're just like, you walk in and you're like, my deck is better than all these people. I'm better than all these people. I can just wreck this. Let's go.
I didn't even feel that way. I was like, I am probably the worst player here, but for some reason I'm going to win.
Well, you know what? We take those. Do you know what your deck was, or at least vaguely?
For the qualifier?
Yeah.
That was a black-white deck that was based around Infernal Darkness.
Yes.
So it was
Eldoran Outpost? The land that makes soldiers?
I don't remember.
Okay, well,
I honestly don't remember. There were Blinking Spirits involved.
Yes, Blinking Spirit. Oh my God. I love Blinking Spirit so much.
And it was just a disruption deck. It was just intended to disrupt all my opponents. So the final match of the night was a mirror match, very nearly. Everyone was playing Infernal Darkness.
Infernal Darkness is a wild card. For those guys who don't remember your Ice Age lore, 2 black for an enchantment that has a cumulative upkeep of black and a life, which is to say every turn you have to pay like twice that effectively. Black and life, 2 black, 2 life, 3 black, 3, etc. But all mana producing lands produce black instead of anything else. So all your dual lands are now just swamps. It's like, yeah, it's a heinous card. Wait, but if you're playing black-white, how did you get away with that, though? Like, I don't know. I'm going to have to go back and actually read some of these old deck lists, because, like,
well, you don't have to pay for Infernal
I guess that's
Darkness.
true. You can just let it die. And the main purpose is to screw them more than screw you, right? Like, shut down their chances and then play another one.
Shut him down for a little while, and then, if you have a Blinking Spirit, it's pretty hard for them to kill.
Yes.
And there may or may not have been Ivory Gargoyles. I'm trying to remember the deck list. It's been so long.
Yeah, we're talking about like literal 30 years ago. The fact that you remember Blinking Spirit and Infernal Darkness is pretty hardcore.
So that was what I played. And the most wonderful thing happened after I did win, other than the fact that I finally got to eat, which was there were all these women that were there with their boyfriends, and some who had been playing. And they came up to me just sort of one by one and were just very, very happy for me.
That's so cool.
And saying things like, I should really start playing tournaments too. If you can do that, then I can do that. And stuff like that. And I was like, yes, you absolutely can.
Yes.
Because I am nobody special. I am nobody special. And so that was, to me, that was more of a victory feeling than actually winning the tournament. Because by the time you win the tournament, you're exhausted. You're exhausted. And not only are you exhausted from playing, you're exhausted from all the people who are curious about what you're doing playing Magic.
You won the tournament and they're still asking why you're here? Well,
in the early rounds.
That's so crazy.
Like, who built your deck for you? or, stuff like that. And just, and the people who would lose in a very sour manner simply because you were female.
Oh yeah, these guys were definitely not. They were not good sports about it. It was like the saltiest of salt lords out there. Because like I experienced a lot of this in the sense of like passive racism when I'd be playing out there. But
I'm sorry.
because that just happens. It's magic, and it's also nerd culture. Nerd culture in America is it's weird because like I live in the Bay Area, which is a very racially diverse, and like all of my Magic playing friends were all like Asians or people of various and sundry stripes, because it's just the Bay Area is everybody's here. But when you'd go out of here and go to Gen Con to play, or you'd go to a different con, and you would see like, oh wait, they're all like white people, and they'd be like, you were saying earlier about how it was memorable because you're the one woman in the room. Well, when I was at Gen Con, I'm like, I think I told a friend I was like a cookie floating in a sea of milk. Like you knew where I was at any point in time. It was very hard to miss me. But yeah,
it makes you feel kind of outside of everything just a little bit.
It's a weird feeling because you're like, I'm here because I love the same thing you do, and I got in the same way you did through the same games and books and media. Like, it's not like we have a different TV at our house than you do. Like, they play the same afternoon cartoons, we read the same books in the library, and they're like, yeah, but why are you playing Magic? And I'm like, because I want to cast spells. What are you playing Magic for? Like, I want to play Mom Money Jin, man. What do you want from me? But it would be like, it would never be passive, but it would be like, oh, hey, do you mind? Can I sit down and join you guys? Oh no, this seat's taken. And it's like, is it though? Is it though? Anyways, it's gotten better, especially as I've gotten more famous and prominent, and now nobody says no to me when I want to sit down and play, which is great. But
you just had to prove yourself first.
Yeah, I just had to, make myself world famous in order to get away with it. Which is
exactly.
But you shouldn't have to do that. It's just Magic.
No,
We're just here to play, man. It was like when Kaladesh Block came out, and I was at the pre-release, and there was one of those cards was a vehicle that had a power of 7 and a toughness of 11, and it was India set. And you would sit there and go like, why would you put a 7-11 reference in an India set? And I sat down to pre-release, and the dude next to me is like, thank you, come again. And I'm like, oh, it's going to be one of those weekends, is it? And I'm like,
oh my goodness, that I did not realize. Wow.
Yeah, it was, you don't think about these things until they happen, and then you're like, oh, that's all I can think about now. I have seen a lot of different eras of Magic, and I will say that it has gotten so much better than it was. It is not great, but it is better because it was bad. And I'm not saying when there's a thing about when you're at tournaments or when you're at a certain echelon of play, the people stop caring who you are, and they're just like, you're here because your skill level has let you be here. We're cool. Everything's cool. We're going to jam. And Magic was always an international game, so it was never that bad. But it's the lower tiers of people who think they're better than they are. That's where you get the real crappy attitudes. And it's just it's like the people who are very new are excited to be here. The people who are extremely good are really just chill with anybody who's playing because they just want to have a good game. And the people who live in the middle, what we call the Levine Trench, are just the absolute, doofuses of the universe who are just like the most unbelievable, useless people to talk to.
They're the people you meet at the low tables at the tournament, and then
like the dude who goes 2-3 drop.
Yeah,
he's like, you only beat me because you're a girl. I'm like, do girl hand give you magical shuffling powers? What is going on? It's like, have you thought about not being a scrub?
I usually got the luck excuse, like you got lucky or I got unlucky or whatever.
And you didn't win, so
sorry.
Too bad. Yeah.
I did find, I don't know if this is your experience, but the European pros had a tendency to treat me, at least, a lot nicer than the American pros did.
Oh, I believe that fully. I
And I'm
fully
not
believe that.
sure. I'm not sure why. If it's more of chivalrous culture or something like that, but they
Because
didn't. They didn't
America is
act
just much
out.
more. Yeah, America is just a much more machismo driven society,
Oh,
and
that's the point.
like it's not even so much as the Europeans are being particularly nicer, as much as we in the States live in a very machismo driven culture, and when you're in a tournament in a competitive setting, that like drive comes out even more.
Mm-hmm.
And then they're like, how could I possibly lose to somebody I think of as lesser than me? And like, surely it's not my game that's a problem. It must be you that's a problem. And it's like, yeah, but I still won. So that's not an answer they like to hear, right? Um, but yeah, so let's talk about this win of yours. Like, did how did that go? Can you walk me through like the process of building this deck, or how you got to like? Because you were telling me before we started, it was like a 5-color deck that you won with, and I looked it up and
Yes.
it sounded rad. Like
Yes. Okay. So this is the genesis of probably the deck I'm most associated with, which was 5-color green.
hmm.
And 5-color green was a cooperative effort led by Matt Place, who was a rising pro star at the time. And then I was in on it, and his brother, Dan Burdick, was in on it. And Nate Clark, who was also a fellow pro, was we were kind of the four that were discussing this deck back and forth, making changes, tweaks, looking at the metagame. And the metagame at the time was not shifting as rapidly as it does now. So the metagame at the time was dominated by blue decks, particularly blue-red and mono-blue. So you try to think, well, what's going to really wreck blue's day? Riverboa. Riverboa is really going to mess with their day. And so this deck came together as what looks like the start of a green stompy deck.
Yeah. Riverboa was a 2-1 for 2 with Island Walk, so it was basically unblockable against blue. And had like
it regenerated. It regenerated, yeah. So you have what is the beginnings of what looks like a green stompy deck, just meaty green creatures.
Yeah.
But then on top, we did something that people thought couldn't be done, which was we brought in the good stuff from other colors, the other 4 colors, and managed to make the mana base work.
This is an era where your like dual lands were the worst dual lands you've ever seen in your life. Like
the Ice Age duel
is terrible.
Yeah. So
City of Brass, basically.
The mana base to support the extra colors was City of Brass,
which is basically a pain land.
Pain land for any color. Undiscovered Paradise, which returns to your hand. And Birds of Paradise.
Yeah. Birds of Paradise at least is a reasonable card, but Undiscovered Paradise is one of the worst lands of all time. I mean, actually, you know what? That's not true. I actually like it a lot just because the art's really good. But it was like you could tap it for a color, and then it would, at the beginning of your next untap, it bounced back to your hand. So basically, you would have to reuse your land drop to play it. But at least it came to play untapped, so that was pretty good.
Okay, now pair that land, conceptually, with Morrow.
Morrow is the card that gives you, it's a star, where the stars are equal to the number of cards in hand.
Correct.
Oh.
Pair it conceptually with Winter Orb.
Winter Orb says you can only untap one land at a... Oh, that's gross.
All right. So it wasn't that bad in this deck.
No, now it's awesome. Are you kidding?
And we had little tricks with Quirion Ranger.
Yeah, Quirion Ranger.
Where you could pick up forests.
Yeah, it's a Legacy All-Star, man. I love that card in my elf deck. It lets you like pick up forest, untap a creature.
Like a Bird of Paradise.
Like a Bird of Paradise. I see where you're going here.
So you could tap a forest, tap a bird, pick up the forest, untap the bird,
Tap it again.
Play the forest again. Tap them both. Play a Morrow. Play an Armageddon. Play, and you were not constrained by your Winter Orb.
That's so smart. That's so smart. Like, because I'm looking at this list and it's like Arcane Denial is your counterspell. Disenchant, of course, because you want to break everything. 4 Incinerates, because, when they took Bolt away, we used whatever we had. And Incinerate was great. It's still one of the best burn spells. Terrors, obviously Terrors. And 1 Armageddon just to really run it into their faces. Because, like, you
Armageddon is hatred for blue. Really.
Yeah, sure.
And so is Winter Orb. And so is Riverboa. And that 1 Karoo Meerkat, which probably shouldn't have been there.
2-1 Pro Blue, let's go. But I love the Whirling Dervish. That's like one of my all-time favorite cards. And like it gets so big so quickly.
Yes, it does. And black was a sub-theme of the metagame at the time. So if you managed to get your Whirling Dervish out, you could do some serious damage with it.
What was the Granger Guildmage for? A 1/1 that you can pay a white and tap to give first strike to something, or pay a red and tap to do a damage to a target creature or player and to you.
So blue liked to play, because red-green decks were a threat to blue. Blue liked to play Sukkata Firewalker, which was protection from red Tim. You tap it to do 1 damage to something.
Yes.
That got rid of Ball Lightnings. That got rid of Jackal Pups or whatever was in the format at the time. I can't remember. It was a weird intermediate format. I believe it was 5th edition plus Ice Age.
That's such a weird era.
Because we didn't have Lightning Bolt, so it wasn't 4th edition.
Yeah, no, you definitely had Incinerate. So, and it was like Ice Age Mirage 5th edition.
Yeah. I think Visions as well.
Yeah, well, Mirage and Visions were 1 block.
Wait.
So it like probably Mirage, Visions, Weatherlight, and 5th Age and 5th edition.
Actually, I don't think we had Visions, because we would have had things like Necrotal and stuff, and we didn't have those yet.
Oh God, man, Necrotal being brand new. So, okay, I'm looking at the German article about this, and it was, let's see, Standard Mit 4th edition Chronicles, Fallen's, Ice Age, and Homelands.
But it wasn't standard. It was this weird interim format.
Yeah, it wasn't standard, but it was definitely like in that kind of era. So it was probably like Ice Age, Mirage, and like the core set of the time.
5th edition, yeah.
Yeah.
So that was the format. And you haven't asked me yet about Armor of Thorns.
Well, I love Armor of Thorns, but yes, please tell us, why is Armor of Thorns there?
Because Quicksand was in the format.
Quicksand? What the hell is Quicksand?
That is a land. Look it up. I believe it gives -2/-1 to an attacking creature.
I can see the picture in my mind. Oh, it was in Visions, because Quicksand was in Visions. There's the dude with the hand sticking out. Oh yeah, -1/-2 to target creature without flying. Yeah, back when your lands could just ambiently kill things.
Right, when creatures were kind of small. So you didn't want a Quicksand to take out your Riverboa, and you didn't want a Quicksand to take out your Whirling Dervish before it had a chance to
really just pop.
So you would have Armor of Thorns, and you'd trade 1 for 1, but you'd keep your really dangerous threat on the board. Now, the Granger Guildmage was so you could kill Sukkata Firewalker, because Sukkata Firewalker would wreck you.
Yes. Sukkata. Oh man, I remember this card. It had like basically can't be a target of red spells or effects, and you could tap it to do a damage to creature or player. It was like Turbo Prodigal Sorcerer.
And so you couldn't incinerate it, so we had other ways to deal with it. But you laid that down turn 1 versus a mono blue deck. And they would just sit there and stare at it for a very long time. And I honestly played a game where I think I put a Granger Guildmage down turn 1, and I attacked for 1, and he did nothing, and I attacked for 1, and he did nothing. I attacked for 1. I must have done that for 4 or 5 turns before he got rid of that thing.
That's so annoying.
And we were lampooned for using Arcane Denial because that was considered the worst counterspell possible. I mean, you don't let your opponent draw cards.
I love Arcane Denial because it feels like such a nice counterspell. It's like, look, I'm taking your thing away, but here, I'm giving you a card back. It's fine. Don't worry about it. I run it in like, it's my counterspell of choice in my commander decks.
But yeah, if you have them... Oh, sorry, go on.
Go ahead. Please finish.
Oh, no, I was just saying, but if you have them under a Winter Orb lock or something like that, they're not casting those spells.
Man. It's so mean. And Arcane Denial being only 1 and a blue instead of 2 blue makes it so much easier to cast.
Absolutely.
It's funny, this German website that I'm reading that had your deck list on it, which was Planet MTG or whatever, they were saying, Kathy later reported how an opponent she defeated with this deck was loud about having just lost to the worst sealed deck in the world, and then, of course, against a girl. Yeah, bro, they're looking at what is this crap that you're playing?
They're like, what the heck? Where did Disenchant come from? Like, what are you playing? What are you even playing?
You're all forest. What is going on?
And then the whole having 16 lands.
Yeah, that's crazy. That is crazy. Even after, I mean, I guess in green it's not that crazy, but wait, this is a 60 card deck. Yeah. 16 lands is like cutting it close for a limited deck.
Yeah.
This is pre-fetch lands. So like you were praying that you have those forests in your hand, and that the only mono dork you have is basically birds. And I guess like,
and this was pre-mulligan rules too.
Yeah, the old mulligan where it's like, look, you either have all non-lands or all lands, and that's the only way you get to mull. You have to show your hand, show them that you have 7 like non-lands, and then you get to do it. And if you have like 6 cards in a Maze of Ith, that's a land, can't mulligan.
Yes, exactly.
I remember that nightmare. What the hell, dude? How are you playing this with 16? That cannot be the best way you could have done that. But I mean, if you won, who am I to say?
Well, somehow it just worked. Although I will say that almost every match that day, I lost the first game and had to win the next 2 every single round except for 1. So it was always coming back.
Post-sideboard matches?
Post-sideboard.
Yeah, but you were running like Gloom in your sideboard and some other things like that. So
you
probably had hosers. But
Hydroblasts, Hydroblasts.
Exactly. The people you were playing against were probably just inordinately frustrated that you're just like taking this pile of effectively draft chaff and just wrecking them.
Well, see, nobody knew at the time that if you just kill the bird of paradise, it's over.
Yeah, like literally, that's if I pop your one, but that's the thing. We always underestimated monodorks in those days. Like, we're like, oh, it's just a land. Who cares? Whatever. It turns out, like, we didn't. I mean, it's weird to say this in a world where Stone Rain was all over the place and Strip Mine was all over the place, but we would never be like, oh, let me just kill your Lana War Elves and stop you from playing. It's like, it just wouldn't occur to people. It's so weird.
Well, a Lana War Elves was more likely to die because it actually had a power.
Yeah,
a bird of paradise is just a harmless little 0/1 bird.
Although I did win a lot of games by sticking a Holy Strength on a Birds of Paradise and just going into town. And they'd be like, what the hell are you doing? And I'm like, well, I'm hitting you for one. But that's so rad, though. You like beat a whole ass tournament and like, you get the check and you win. And that must have felt really cool.
Well, it wasn't a check, but I did get a travel voucher and a qualification to go to U.S. Nationals.
That was cool.
Yeah. I did not do well in the draft portion of Nationals, and so I just decided to spectate for the weekend.
Did you prefer draft or sealed? I mean, draft or constructed?
I was a constructed format specialist, and My draft game was not as good as it should have been.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, back then nobody's draft game was good, and the sets were not good to draft, so it worked out for somebody, I guess. But like, you hung out with so many interesting people in those days. Like, wow, we've actually been talking for a really long time. I did not expect this. I just looked up at the clock and I'm like, whoa, it's well past the hour. But like, I know that, like, for instance, on your wiki page on the Magic Wiki, it said that you had also worked with Brian Weissman, the creator of the deck, which is like the first deck
Mm-hmm.
anybody knew that was a deck. Like, do you remember what that was like seeing? Like, do you like, or what was it like working with like these people who would go on to become like turbo pros later? I guess that's a weird way to phrase that
Well,
question.
Turbo Pros,
I guess
interesting.
it's more of a question of just trying to. I guess what I'm trying to ask is more like, do you have any interesting memories of that era of working with these people?
The first memory I really have of Brian Weissman was being at an event and having him sit down with me and show me how to play the deck.
Hmm. It's so good.
And showing me how to play it, with hand face up, so that he could show me the intricacies of it. And that was
Mm.
when I understood card advantage for the first time.
Yeah.
That was when I understood the concept of control for the first time, that it doesn't matter if you've lost 19 life, as long as you still have one, you're in the game.
Yes.
The control player's ethos of you just got to have nerves of steel until you wrestle control of the game back and win later.
Yeah.
And so 5-color green actually was secretly a control deck.
Yeah, I mean, it's because it's Winter Orb and Armageddon, and then you're just like, shooting off whatever their threats are. It seems
Mm.
like it's weird to think of a green control deck, but it very much is a control deck of that era.
It
It's
was
kind of
the
sick.
first kind of mid-range control deck, and the first one that was 5 colors, and it spawned the whole genre of 5-color decks after it, like
Yeah, it's
5-color
crazy.
black and whatnot. But
Yeah.
that's different. You're asking me what it was like to work with Brian Weissman.
Well, yeah, that, and
Well,
also like the fact that, I mean, you were mentioning Matt Place and Dan Burdick, for
mm-hmm,
instance. Both of those were like incredible players of the era. Both of them
mm-hmm.
eventually went on to work at Wizards in different capacities over the years. And I mean, even Place was like a world champion, like in '96 or something.
Was he a world
And
champion? I
in
think he
in
did some.
team
Oh,
worlds,
that's right. That's right.
and he
And
won the
he
PT in
was
Maine.
Mines. Yeah, I remember that. Mm-hmm.
Mines, yes. But yeah, like both of those are like, insanely. Um, they were very good for their era, right? Like,
Mm-hmm.
so because sometimes there's this notion of like when you're running with just people who are very, very good, you become better. But it's also just
Yes.
like you get to see this genius up front, and it's like this is incredible to watch you work, right? And
Right.
I, so I'm just being a fanboy and asking questions about people who I thought were cool when I was a kid.
Okay. So it goes back to what Kai said. You don't
Mm,
ever want to be the smartest person in the room, right?
right,
Or whatever he
the
said. You
best
don't
player
want to
in the
be the
room.
best player in the room. And so working with them and working on decks with them and playtesting with them meant a lot of pushback.
Mm,
They would give feedback, pushback. We would playtest. And having to playtest your deck against them meant you had to become a better player, a better playtester,
yeah.
everything like that. And then you had to look at your deck critically and go, okay, what didn't work here?
Mm,
And reiterate and try again. And take some of their feedback and reiterate and try again. And at some point you land on something that is workable and is good. And I really, really enjoyed the deck brewing aspect of Magic way more than the competitive aspect.
right. I wanted to
So,
actually lead right
yeah.
into that. That was going to lead
Mm-hmm.
right into the question I had next, which was, you were on one of the early teams of Magic too, weren't you? Like the
Team Legion.
Team Legion, like
Mm-hmm.
where you guys actually. I mean, because it's these days we take for granted the notion that they're just teams of Magic players who sit and brainstorm and work things out and do cool stuff. But in the
Mm-hmm.
'90s, that's like unheard of. So, what was that like?
That was Team Legion was a great team, And one aspect of it I really enjoyed was how diverse it was. I mean, it was not just an Amerocentric team. It was people from all around the world. We had, I believe we had people from Belgium and Switzerland and America and Taiwan.
Oh, wow.
I think. And
how did you communicate? IRC?
IRC mostly, or mailing lists.
Right, mailing lists.
Mailing lists where you're like, here's
days.
the deck I'm working on, and then everybody builds it and tries it out and gives feedback and churns it through. Oh, and we had, of course, Raphael Levy from France.
You worked with Raphael? Oh, yeah, way back, of course, like one of the all-time greats.
Alex Schwartzman, Zvi Malshowitz.
Wow. That's like, I got a chance to play against V once, and we were playing with a cube based around card. Every card in the deck in the cube had come from a Pro Tour winning deck. And so like it was, it's Eric Klug's famous Pro Tour cube, and Zvi and BDM were hanging out and we were playing. And I had no idea how to do this because obviously I don't know how to play Pro Tour decks or whatever. And I drafted a bunch of cards, and Zvi's like, I won the Pro Tour with that card. I won the Pro Tour with that card. You just played it wrong. Let me just see your hand. Okay, I win. Good game. And I was like, nice to meet you. Goodbye. And that's when I learned that some Magic players are just better than me, and that's just okay. Zvi is a different kind of dude. Yeah, it's a good time. Goddamn. But yeah, that must have been wild though, being like those are not small names. These are like Hall of Famers, like crazy.
Well, at the time we were all just people.
Yeah, I mean, fair. I guess they're still people, technically.
I mean, technically we're all still people, but I mean, I was a small time people, and maybe they were, slightly bigger time people, but it was mostly just people. I mean, once you got to the Pro Tour level, you kind of knew who was better than you and who wasn't. And except for a few people, I didn't see a lot of preening and strutting or anything like that. It was show us or
put up or shut up, right?
Right.
Yeah, because like the folks who preen and strut at Pro Tours tend to be the people who yardbird afterwards, who were just like, yeah, how'd you do? 2, 3. Yeah. Enjoy yourself. I hope you like Columbus for the rest of the weekend or whatever the hell. Yeah. Good times. But yeah, man, like what a trip. And so have you been playing Magic since then? Like, do you just still enjoy the game?
So I gave up the game probably in the early to mid 2000s. And just kind of put it aside as a chapter of my life. And then about maybe 3 years ago, I started, let's see, it's 2025. So yeah, about 3 years ago, I started dating somebody that I'd met. And one of his activities every week was on Friday nights, he would go play cards with his friends. And I'm thinking blackjack, poker, a guy's poker night, right? Yeah. And so I asked him, I said, oh, what do you play? Like Texas Hold'em or whatever. And he says, no, we play dork cards.
Oh.
And I went, and I went, what are dork cards? And he said, well, and he was kind of blushing a little. He said, we play Magic the Gathering. And I started roaring.
It's like, hey, buddy, I played on the Pro Tour.
And so he got to hear the whole origin story of me playing Magic back in the day.
That's amazing, though. Like, the flex. You would have just been like, yeah, I was once one of the best players there was. You remember?
Not even close, but thank you for flattering me.
You're better than I was. You're better than a lot of people were. Most people didn't win any tournaments, let alone regionals, let alone PTQs, let alone like there are like what 300 people on the PT, maybe at best in those days. Come on,
Yeah.
give yourself a little bit of credit. Like,
Okay,
that's an
this much.
incredible skill. Like, look, it's one thing to say like, okay, I went to the PT and I got like my ass handed to me. That's fair. The PT
Which is true.
It is the absolute like, most super distilled best of the best there is, right? However, getting onto the PT, it's like when you go to a football game and you're like the worst and you're watching football and like you're like, man, that guy sucks. And you realize that like the literal worst person on a football team on TV is better than literally everybody you've ever met in your life at playing this game. Just because they're there. They're not here. They're on the team. They made the cut. You made the cut. You are insanely good. Don't undercut yourself. Like, you might not be like Kai, but you're definitely better than everybody else.
All right. I'm definitely not like Kai. Kai is in a league all his own.
Yeah.
But
I was I don't get starstruck very often, but I met Kai in Amsterdam last year and I was just like starstruck because I'm like, oh my God, I've read about you my whole life. I don't know what to do. Yeah, it was amazing. I haven't been able to get him on the show because I'm just too afraid.
Oh, don't be afraid. He's a really great guy.
Oh yeah, but I would just be like, can you tell me how cool you are? It doesn't make for a good interview. I've had people who I've been in awe of on this show, and that's just a bad time. In any case. But yeah, so did you pick it back up again?
I did. And so we would go over to his best friend's house on Friday nights and we would play 60 card multiplayer. It was like just with almost
casual
no band.
Kitchen table fun times.
Casual kitchen table, almost no band or restricted list. And then I started hearing about this format called Commander. And I was like, that's kind of interesting. I'll pick up a pre-con and see what that's about. And I have been playing casual Commander, kind of bracket 3, since then. I don't really want to get competitive with it because I feel like when I got competitive the first time, it ruined my ability to have fun. The only fun I could ever have was winning. And now I can have different kinds of fun with the game, even if I don't win.
Yeah.
So I don't want to get that cutthroat instinct anymore. Although I still do, from time to time, win a little more than I should.
Old habits die hard.
Well, one thing that Commander players seem to do that I haven't figured out how to break them of yet is you don't have to play a land every turn. You can, in fact, hold cards in your hand and make it look like you have other options.
What?
And you don't have to play everything on your turn. You can play instants and do effects at the end of other people's turns. And
now you're blasting
things like that. I'm sorry, it's not Portal. It's it's Magic. We're not playing Portal.
I live my life at sorcery speed.
So occasionally I'll be like, back up. You can do that now. You know? Right. And now would be a good time to do that.
And then you can untap your lands. It's fine. Trust me.
Yeah.
I don't know. I've seen there's some Commander players definitely play Portal. That is definitely true.
And the number of times I have to go untap, upkeep, then draw, please. Because people will just go for the card.
Yeah, well, we forget that upkeep. I mean, that's the thing I like about Commander is that it reminds you that upkeep has a reason for being there. There's things that happen on your upkeep. Chill. Let me get through my sages. We'll get there. Don't worry about it. But yes, that is absolutely true. This has been a lovely conversation, though. Thank you so much for joining me. I really, really appreciate it.
I had a lot of fun.
Yeah, no, this is I love this. I love being able to just learn about this world that we share together. It's so cool. but yeah, and with that, my friends, as always, you can find me at Shivam Bhatt on Blue Sky, or you can find this podcast anywhere podcasts are sold, or on YouTube every Tuesday. Thank you to my editor, Dan. You can also hear me on Shivam and Wheel of Love Magic or the Chronicles of Dragonlance podcast. And remember, my friends, it's not magic without the gathering, and we'll see you next time.